Hey Sunrise, it's Andrew here with your small group questions for this week as we dive in to chapter 6, verse 9, all the way through the end of 7. So we're looking at the flood narrative. So specifically, we're going to see Noah called out. We're going to see the commands God gives to him. We're going to see all of these things play out in our text this morning. And so the first question is, how does this text connect us back to last week's text in verse 8? So how does verse 8 bring us forward into what we are studying today? What are some key words that help bring all of these things together? And with that, what role does grace, righteousness, and obedience play in our text? It's kind of this theme that we're going to see in many aspects of our text. So what role does it play? How do we see it described? And then ultimately, those phrases, how do we see that play itself out in all of Scripture? So how is this text setting us up for all of Scripture? As we look at the idea of covenant, what is the reality of the covenant presented in our text today? Why is it important? How does that see itself forward into the rest of Scripture? And then from that, what are we learning about God in our text today? There's a lot of things that we can unpack, but specifically, what individually, as you read this text, are you seeing about God? How are you understanding God from this text? And we can discuss some of those things in small groups. And so ultimately, there are the last couple basic ones. What is the significance of a worldwide flood? What is the global nature, and why is that important to what our text is telling us? And then lastly, I want us to think about one specific thing that maybe we may not pick up on as easily when we look at the text, but what is the role of worship in our text? How are we looking forward to worship, looking back in God's provision for worship? Again, there's some little telltale signs in there. We'll explore them, of course, a little bit more in our small group times, but just a hint, clean, unclean is where we're going. But so spend some time in the text. Again, come hear the word on Sunday morning as we dive into these things. And of course, really unpacking them together as the church in our small groups. I hope you'll spend some time looking at each of these questions and really begin to think through the depths of what God is revealing in his word to us. Can't wait to see you guys on Sunday, and then hopefully part of small groups throughout the week. See ya.